behind the headlines.
We tackle issues of maximum importance to the growth of Sierra Leone, from politics to the economy, agriculture, education, health, and tourism.
By serving as your voice in asking the why, where, how, and when questions to the people them we responsible. This na Brutally Frank.
This is Brutally Frank.
Showing every Sunday at 7 p.m. on Slick TV, channel 37, and streaming live on our Facebook page and official website. You don't tire for your boku talk with no substance or sweet talk with plenty lie inside. Then now, na the time for strip the headlines bare and tell the story just like it is. Brutally Frank goes where others won't, exposing the real stories behind the headlines.
We tackle issues of maximum importance to the growth of Sierra Leone, from politics to the economy, agriculture, education, health, and tourism.
By serving as your voice in asking the why, where, how, and...
John Trudell once said, when one lives in a society where the people can no longer rely on the institutions to tell them the truth, then the truth must now come from culture and arts. Tonight on Brutally Frank, we want to talk about land business. It is the foundation upon which a nation is built. Tonight, we're asking the critical question, because at this point, we have just one land, but two different agreements. The question, therefore, is, why is this so? And who that truly own the land at Kasafoni? Gento Group on the one side, the Ministry of Mines on the other side. Let me just say the government of Salone on the other side. For start with, there was an agreement between Gento Group of companies and the community people that was signed by the community chiefs. People celebrated that, oh, finally, we get one of we own people, them. You know, they venture into that area of mining because for centuries, Salone don't they produce minerals. And are you talking about iron ore, diamonds, and the list goes on. But one thing we don't always be a debate. Now, whether the mines and minerals them we they produce in this country, don't they reflect pan with development? The answer is really controversial. But I tell you what, most people they on the negative, that no, we have not really been able to get the kind of benefit where we deserve as a country from we mines and mineral agency. And that is why in 2019, with support from the World Bank, the government of Salone undertook a geophysical survey. This survey also, now before help for understand almost mineral resources we get, whose side and day, and what's the accessibility. It was extensive. At the end of this geophysical survey, the results prove, say, as a matter of fact, for boku years, we've been underestimating the amount of natural and mineral resources that we get. And results them and, you know, all the geophysical surveys them, where all the agencies don't they do, nor don't reflect the true picture where they are on ground. This data, of course, now something that is now being managed by the Ministry of Mines and Mineral Resources in hopes that with this data, the ministry go able to make informed decisions when it comes to calling investors and knowing exactly how much we are giving and be on a stronger position for bargaining for how much we're able to get in return. That's the situation with Kasafoni. But the problem now where we dey at this point, now the fact say, for this one grain point, there are more than one agreement. And we're now constrained with asking, which one is legitimate? Whose one are the illegitimate one? Tonight on Brutally Frank, waiting we hope for do. Now for explore all of the different facts them we connect to this very, very critical issue. While using one grain measurement, the truth. So viewers, Welcome to no man's land. This na brutally frank. Me na James Fortune, and tonight I'm here, like always, with the big man himself, Melvin Tijan Mansare.
Plenty thank you for getting me, and we always bring the show Fumble Kushe and Kabo. It's another edition of your favorite show, Brutally Frank. And tonight, we will be very brutal on the economic, social, legal, infrastructural, political, and other implications of this issue. We're going to be using facts, figures, data, and all relevant documents needed for the conversation. So tonight, we asked the question you already had: one land, two agreements. Who really owns Kasafoni? Who that gets them? Based on the agreement, collective agreement signed between Gentle Group and 100 landowners. And fast forward, based on the agreement, the concession between the government and some of the landowners, particularly one paramount chief. Who that get the land? Now that's what I'll find out tonight. And on the conversation, we expect to be joined by Honorable Quintin Salia Kone, we now the chairman for the Parliamentary Oversight Committee on Lands. And also with that, we have to expect Ibrahim Mansare, we now the head of programs and projects Forum for Human Rights and Development, FORD. The program Brutally Frank, and my name, Melvin Tijan Mansare.
So viewers, tonight, of course, we get for they take a look and hear the story from all of the different parties them, starting from the government of Sierra Leone, the Sierra Leone Mines and Mineral Development Management Corporation. Now that's a long one. SLMMDMC. That was created for be a body that is fully state-owned as a commercial entity. We're capable for partner with private investors them in the mineral aspect. And of course, we as well get for the look at the community people them, their own perspective, and juxtaposing all of those different perspectives. While at the same time, very importantly, yourself with the watch we and listen we, forget the opportunity for add you voice to today's discussion by way of calling us on the number where we go display on your screen shortly. We'll go for a short break, and we will be right back. Because when we get back, we will be brutally frank.
You don't tire for your boku talk with no substance or sweet talk with plenty lie inside. Then now, na the time for strip the headlines bare and tell the story just like it is. Brutally Frank goes where others won't, exposing the real stories behind the headlines.
We tackle issues of maximum importance to the growth of Sierra Leone, from politics to the economy, agriculture, education, health, and tourism.
By serving as your voice in asking the why, where, how, and when questions to the people them we responsible.
This na Brutally Frank.
This is Brutally Frank.
Showing every Sunday at 7 p.m. on Slick TV, Channel 37, and streaming live on our Facebook page and official website.
You don't tire for your boku talk with no substance or sweet talk with plenty lie inside. Then now, na the time for strip the headlines bare and tell the story just like it is. Brutally Frank goes where others won't, exposing the real stories behind the headlines.
We tackle issues of maximum importance to the growth of Sierra Leone, from politics to the economy, agriculture, education, health, and tourism.
By serving as your voice in asking the why, where, how, and when questions to the people them we responsible.
This na Brutally Frank.
This is Brutally Frank.
Showing every Sunday at 7 p.m. on Slick TV, Channel 37, and streaming live on our Facebook page and official website.
You don't tire for your boku talk with no substance or sweet talk with plenty lie inside. Then now, na the time for strip the headlines bare and tell the story just like it is. Brutally Frank goes where others won't, exposing the real stories behind the headlines.
We tackle issues of
Okay, welcome back. If you're just joining us, the program where you listen to na Brutally Frank, where they come to you live here on Sleek TV channel 37. We do also the live via we Facebook page at Sleek TV, and you can also follow we live at Epic Radio. Tonight on the show, we're talking about the land. I don't know if it would be quite accurate for describe them as a land dispute, but then waiting we get now, we get one land with two different agreements. And tonight we are really asking the question, who owns the land at Kasofoni? And what's the situation now? Because on the one hand, you get government of Salone, where of course, government of Salone gets some responsibility and they're at the center of it. And they're stating that the land in itself is not encumbered in any way, that government is not dragging anything with anybody. Because to start with, that particular land has and always be under the control of government. And it is, as a matter of fact, now one area where them be don't designate for a purpose. They have a whole agency that is responsible to handle such things. That's now the Sierra Leone Mines and Mineral Development Management Corporation. This particular corporation, it is fully state-owned. It's a commercial entity where governments create with an intention for let them able to negotiate and build partnership with private investors them in the mining sector. Now the central model where the Sierra Leone Mines and Mineral Development Management Corporation they use, now waiting they established and waiting they call as the Mineral Wealth Fund. This particular agency body was established as a vehicle for actually ensure that we get a central unit that controls all things and the country able for benefit gets the very, very best deal when it comes to negotiation with investors. This organ was established pursuant to Section 15 of the Sierra Leone Mines and Mineral Development Management Corporation Act of 2023. Now, all the way in the north, Tonkolili North, you get three chiefdoms. You get Samboya, Diang, and Dansogoya. Now, these three communities there, so in this conversation where we get tonight. So on the one hand, the community people represented by traditional rulers, we don't already go ahead and sign an agreement with Gento Group of companies, giving them mineral rights and all, just the processes where, you know, you go through, forget land in other provinces. Fast forward, that particular arrangement, they was described as null and void and of no effect because the one them where they make the agreement with no get authority for do them in the first place. So there was this whole impasse. Fast forward later on, Gento Group of companies voluntarily seceded themselves that, okay, well, they are not even dragging this thing with government anymore, the rights to the land and all that. They are not dragging that with government. That the only thing now that they need now for let governments sign an agreement with them, that's notwithstanding which kind of investor where governments decide for work with, now that place they, then go use the Portway Gento Group of companies they build na Banana Island for exports the mineral resources. Now that's where the deadlock is at the moment. Because already, according to the Mineral Wealth Fund, they already get investors them that are not just willing to say, okay, export minerals out of the country, but they're willing to build their own ports and all of which. And they feel like that's a better deal as opposed to the deal they get with Gento Group of companies. But tonight what we went to explore really is, how did we get to this point in itself? Because for a very long time, this has been the situation. I mean, we don't get instances now, so there are certain deals, especially those ones where it relates to mines and mineral resources, where the country, they only benefit 0.1. And it's always shrouded in secrecy and just so many warheads them where can be involved to the point that Udak they lost in the end of everything, another country. So tonight we want to explore then different factors there and really examine the different players involved. You know, while we dey prepare for the show tonight, my colleague Melvin mentioned something, that whether this situation can be termed as a central government gangsterism against private companies gangsterism, because it seems more or less so. Because while we are still debating whether, as a matter of fact, that them play 1-2 per Gento when it comes to the land, he's already saying that, oh, no, he's not dragging the land anymore. It's just imports agreements now that he's looking forward to. But let's start from the very beginning, the very basis of all of this, Melvin.
Let's just hang on lips and say, when I use that phrase, corporate gangsterism, it was basically on the assumption or the suspicion that, oh, if a minister of finance is saying that a company entered into an agreement with landowners is null and void, the question begs, how comes that the company already knew that they're not probably going to the agreement and then going to her? So could that be seen as corporate gangsterism? Or otherwise, government gangsterism. Government, the land they don't rich in minerals, you never intended to do anything about it. Only when Gento don't go into agreements with some of the landowners, you come back for say, no, we have at least we have another player that can come in and do the job. Could that be government gangsterism? But both ways, the implications are far-reaching. Far-reaching because it has got to do with investors. All right? Sierra Leone's economy is hugely dependent on investors' confidence and investors' investment. If you're having a company owned by a Sierra Leonean, well, passively being coerced to give up its rights to an agreement, then you ask, what is the ideal or congenial environment for business to thrive? That is one. But also, it's got human rights implication. What is the human rights? Who are the owners of that land? Is it the government or the landowners? Because at the end of the day, if government, of course, the constitution and other laws give the government power for take anything where they want based on compensation and other ways, if that's the case, then the people of Kasafoni and the three chiefdoms go argue that, oh, it's our right. Land is a human rights issue. If it's our right, then we must decide who we want to give it to. And if government is going there now for tell and say, oh, now this we want, then I think it has got human rights implication. But also it has got infrastructural implication too. If you listen to Gento, and what we can play shortly from the production house, it's clear that Gento is saying that, oh, I want to invest in rail, I want the deposit for come off from Tonkolili and come Banana Island and all that. Very fashionable. But the fact remains, on the side of Gento Company, why initial Banana Island agreement? How you shift the goalposts in the middle of the game? It was never part. I was in parliament by then. I was not banned yet. I was in parliament when that agreement was signed. And there is nothing that ties it to, oh, this spot should be used compulsory by government or any other person. So I think that corporate interest in terms of business also should be looked into, although they are saying they are going to be developing infrastructure. And ultimately, I think it's the legal, and that's your thing. The legal aspect here is, if Gento had entered into an agreement with the people, of course, when you go to the court will first, the court will first establish who will get the land. And if we have laws like the Customary Land Rights Act, if we have laws like the Mines and Mineral Development Act and all of these laws, I think the fact there remains, if these people have entered into a legally binding agreement with, mind you, Gento Group of Companies, this is a company, and if they've entered into that agreement, signed by the chief, and if you go to the pre-Ludo for now, in the process of doing the road development, you see the members of parliament approach her. Say this land here, they don't waste to get mineral, you know, we look about investing in the land. So that in itself is another issue for another day. The paramount chief they endorse, the MPs them they lower into the business, and the man invest. So another aspect here is, did the parliament do justice when we clearly know that them puts the matter on hold, subjected to chief minister's intervention, according to reports. So that is one side. The paramount chiefs represented the people well. Because are you one going to sign with Gentle Group, then later on you can sign with government. And at the same paramount chief, then they say that so ironical fortune. These same PC or these same people and then go to out with a public petition of parliament. And now they are in agreement with the same government. So the paramount chief there and the MP there. Now Shinka then Shinka Gentle, or now vice versa. The government in the other hand, the Shinka the people. So it's a matter of let's establish the facts, and that's the basis of this conversation. And we are coming out to ask questions to people like Honorable Quintin Salia Kone, because he chairs the Parliamentary Oversight Committee on Lands, and we know Parliament already gets active intervention on the matter.
Okay.
So what happens now that Parliament say let them put this matter in action, but yet still the executive they bypass and they go and take other action.
Okay, maybe let's.
Parliament and the executive, who are the usurp in powers? It's a matter of
I think, Melvin, you mentioned something very important there, and that's the legal aspect of all of this. We get the Customary Land Act. This is one law where all of the players them don't they like flag all around. Customary Land Rights Act. Oh no, now this the act say, now this the act say, now so the act say. Well, basically, land tenure system na salon na so it's characterized by two fundamental pillars. One, you get the statutory tenure. The particular aspects there is governed by written and general law. And then on the other hand, you get customary law that is governed by unwritten traditional rules and these are quite specific to each community. So they may vary, yeah? Customary land na something where predominant from land holding, especially in the province system, yeah? And areas where they outside of Western area. So let's look at some of the key characteristics them of customary land rights. And maybe this now some of the points them as well, where we will shortly clarify with the Honorable. One, you get communal ownership. Yeah? Then they get for do it the fact that land is ultimately owned by the community. Land owning families or the chiefdom, and not necessarily by individual. So an individual or family not able for claim absolute ownership over a piece of land in the provinces, but rather it able for claim rights for use the land. And these rights are held in trust by the authority of the paramount chief in that particular locality. And that's important. Yeah? Now, on the second layer now, you get the trustee role where the chiefs them they play. The chiefs them, the paramount chief, they are recognized primarily as custodians of all customary land within the chiefdom. And then they hold their land and they entrust for the native community. And or rather for the land owning families them, we comprise of the chiefdom in itself. The chief gets actually the authority for allocate land for use, but actually not the chief per se personally own the land at the same time. And then of course you get land owning families them, where we can describe them as true owners under customary law, based on, say, from a specific family or lineage, yeah, where they are considered as original settlers or first comers of a particular area. Their own authority in this particular light as well is represented by section chiefs and town chiefs. So you see, so you get all them different layers there when it comes to customary land rights and you know, the rights, who designates, who gives what. Because another thing that is at the center of this conversation is whether central government's involvement nor they signify an erosion of the authority of local representatives, in this case, the chiefs. Because over time, it's not like central government really play a central role in all of this. On the other hand, in this instance now, I think we see something different. And there are so many questions to ask in that particular regard. And maybe no better person for really provide answers than the one way they head the oversight committee on lands, the parliament. I don't know if the technical people already don't get Honorable Quintin on the line already. If you're there already, Honorable Quintin. Hello? Okay.
Yes.
Good evening and welcome to the show, Honorable. So we get Honorable Quintin on the line now, where they join we tonight on this conversation for answer some very important questions them, especially ones them where relates to the oversight function where parliaments they play when it comes to this whole situation and generally in itself. So Honorable Quintin Salia Kone, now the chairman of the Parliamentary Oversight Committee on Land. Good evening, Honorable, and welcome to the show. Okay. Okay, we still try for connect with Honorable there, and immediately we get him, we go bring them in the conversation. But this is where we are at, Melvin. On the one hand, you get so many questions of legality. And on the other hand, you get the aspect of, okay, who stands to benefit really? You know, the financial returns will come out of this place. Is it a case?
Don't come out.
Yes, exactly. We don't come out.
Gentle say don't pay 50% of the agreement fund.
But then there is the question, if you don't already pay 50%, why were you so quick to then give that up and say, well, you know what, you're not even dragging rights to mine and the land anymore. All that you need now is just that you sign an agreement that they use the port where they build a Banana Island.
So it questions the sincerity of Gentle himself or the company. Let me just be guided.
Because I would want to
because
think that.
Let me just establish the fact.
Yes, please.
The sincerity here is of the company. Firstly, your Banana Island port agreement, as was ratified by Parliament, not capture anything for do with mining of iron ore. Let's establish that. So, two, if you are now going to say you don't enter into agreement, a land lease agreement, and government can say now then get a land concession agreement, and all of a sudden you say, okay, well, you are abandoning that agreement, where you say you don't pay 50% upfront payments to huge chunk of money we'll go announce shortly. And you say you abandon that because you don't ask government for use report because you say financial investors then believe say there is a risk. Gentle's argument is not consistent. Let me just be brutally frank. It's not consistent because there is nowhere in that Banana Island agreement that the port government for use and pauper for ship iron ore. That is one. Two, if you wanted such a portion of the agreement, then why you not capture in the initial agreement when you sign with government? But now along the line, you bring them up. And again, Gentle is mentioning that there is a risk for this port. If it was a risk, so firstly, let's establish. Gentle go to Parliament ratify an agreement with Gentle for the Banana Island. We're not getting couple. Agreed, business you can source funding everywhere. But if now Gentle they say, the using of in Banana Port in our financial guarantee to investors that can invest, then technically he's saying that it was not ready yet, not count the cost all involved in that project. So for me, on the side of Gentle, more so that he abandon the money and still insist, and government is saying no. He's asking for $30 million. As what he wants for laying hands off the business. Or then give him the shipment contract. Which for me, I don't know, we don't know the lawyer then we assist him in that agreement. But technically, Gentle self don't shoot himself in the foot. Because this should have been a conversation as to who owns the land.
Exactly. So maybe let's bring in Gentle at this point. Now there is a video in which he say all of this in his own words, and then we'll come and pick up just exactly who side Melvin just don't left off. Can we now have Gentle?
The Kasafoni land, first of all, as we all know, it's valuable mineral land. And then I believe, say, every businessman, they try to go somewhere where you go get profits and do good business. You know, so how we get into this thing is, first of all, now the honorable members of parliament of that Tonkolili area, they approach me, say they don't get a contract for do from Magburka to Bumbuna for do the road, and they want me as a road construction company for go and construct that road for them. I ask them, would I go pay? Then say, nah, King O and government. So whilst we work on that one day then come and say somebody else, they chase them for the land lease agreement for the Kasafoni land and whatnot. You know, and I did say to them, Kasafoni land, I think say it with mineral wealth fund. And they said, no, you know, they don't ever give the land lease to nobody. You know. So I asked the honorable, I said, sure? They say yes. And then after, you know, I'll be there around, then take me to the paramount chief, they will ask, then say, no, there's no land lease agreement available. That somebody they went and they discuss with for give the land lease agreement, but they no one for do am because of the experience with that person there. And all. And as a businessman, you know, say this land lease agreement for like a mining land like a dandy, yeah, it's good. And before I go into that, let me say this clearly. Janto Group of Company gets a concession agreement with government for construct the Banana Island port. And the Banana Island port, we don't do the feasibility studies. We don't get talk with more than 4 different financiers then. Okay. The challenge what we get with the Banana Island port is that it's a transshipment port where we rely only on international traffic. And because it's a transshipment port where we rely on only international traffic, what does that mean? Financiers and they say there's a bit of a risk because of lucrativeness, that the location where they, the depth where you get, very unique. It will be a challenge to the other port than at the Atlantic Ocean at the region. So the moment where Banana Island will come in existence, the other ports then, for let them for compete with Banana Island, then will drop their rates down. And then Banana Island will struggle because Banana Island will only depend on that international traffic. So what they advised was try to get a domestic commodity product we will export from the Banana Island port, and this will make the port more bankable. You understand? And before all of this they happen, the Ministry of Transport and Aviation Parliamentary Committee don't go with we and don't look at the project, then do findings and no say, okay, government will give you a concession for tie this port to this Banana Island project. We're going to make the project be bankable because this is the way where the financier them go get comfort and go reduce the risk. So when this opportunity come, I saw it like, okay, you understand, this is the way now we will step into this. And I go with the people, I talk with the people, as I signed the land lease. And when I signed the land lease, you know, Shaku Fantabadi is the elder brother, good person I know. You know, I approach and say, now this don't happen, I don't go sign this land lease. And he vex, say, you know, for sign the land lease. I said, no, the place available, other person for don't go sign them. So, you know, it was upset. You can understand, check with. And the paramount chief, then luckily be there free to, we meet the paramount chief, the paramount chief then say, no, the place is available. They don't know of that. You understand? They don't get them, now they get them place. The law say now they forgive land lease to person, and then not give the lease to person. The place is vacant. You understand? This is what they said. So now around that same time. So and when we signed the land lease, like I said, you know, I went straight to the Minister of Finance and told him that this is what have happened. When paramount chief they don't tell you something, and they don't say that this, you know they go back and, you know, what I did was discuss that with the Minister of Finance himself. You understand? And the Minister of Finance, you know, now the chairman or now they supervise the mineral work for. You see? So, however, you see, for me, we don't get this established. Yeah? We don't start negotiation after all this. When all of this comes, say, mineral wealth fund, then say, now then get the land, nobody no get right to get the land and get exclusivity and all of that. What did then happen? The paramount chief there will sign land lease agreement with me, then petition a parliament, say this is the land. You know, they're not aware of the mineral wealth fund, and that they don't give me a land lease agreement where I then stand by. and all. Whilst Parliament don't set up the committee and all, yeah, we don't, the Chief Minister office write to Parliament for put the matter on.
Okay, welcome back. So there you have it. Gentobi just they explain my own side of everything. But there are really so many questions where we really need to be brutally frank with, yeah? Now, on the one hand, the Paramount Chief them, we sign a lease agreement with Gento, already done petition Parliament, yeah? That they do not recognize the Mineral Wealth Fund and Osabi and so on and so forth. But while there is still that petition, already, it's like the person who had the petition for, don't already, let me just say, give up in rights, per se. If you get a legitimate list and you don't say, okay, no, you're willing to shelve that, as long as they are going to make an agreement with you to use your port at Banana Island, I am still trying to see the nexus between the port na Banana Island and whatever arrangement or agreement we na Casophony. and if I am an investor, I already come for can invest in a particular area that already you say, okay, I come and I already have a mind for build me own port and things like that. But you're saying, no, I would have to now go use Banana Island port. That is for another company.
And business inside business.
Exactly, but maybe Honorable Quintin will really be in a better position for helping with answers to these questions. Honorable Quintin, are you there? Okay, good evening and welcome to the show. We are happy to have you.
I'm here.
Okay.
Are they?
Okay. I think the very first question from my end is really, whose side we there at the moment with this whole Casophony drama? Whose side we there?
Hello?
Yes, Honorable Quintin, you dey get me right?
I they get you now. Yeah, you say it in?
Okay. I said the very first question where I go on for put to you tonight now. Whose side we there at the moment? You, of course, now the chair of the Parliamentary Oversight Committee on Land. Where are we at?
Okay. Thank you very much. To start with this whole situation, I will tell you frankly, a bit complex. Yeah. Because looking at it, so many things they come to play. First, we get for no say 2022, sometime in September, will be enact the Customary Land Rights Act. Yeah. And that particular Customary Land Rights Act, they actually try to give right to the customary people in terms of land management, access, and all of that transparency. You know, the Customary Land Rights Act actually they try to ensure equitable distribution of land, as opposed to the initial situation where we get, where you find out say some certain groups of individuals within the communities be marginalized. So when this particular bill comes, what will be the try for look at make the local people they able get equitable access, like for instance women. And for Customary Land Rights Act, it actually gives some powers to community people for able to manage and transact within their own confines. You know, when it comes to anything where them feel say, be able to develop them. That is on the one side. On the other side, when you look at the bigger picture, the state government also gets right as a state institution for actual, because then are the owner, then are the custodian of all land, the state institution. So at a time, then they get the right for look at certain things as long as it's in the interest of the bigger nation, they also get right as a state institution. And this whole situation, Casophony, you know, what do we see as a problem? Really not just like lack of engagement, lack of communication in the whole process. Because when you look at what happened, the community people from 3 different chiefdoms, Sambaya, Danso, Goria, something like that.
Yes, and Diang.
Yeah, these are the three communities who actually come together and actually decide say they want list them property for Gento. Gento, let us don't forget, he's an indigene, he's a citizen of this country. A young man will also they try for doing young part in the development process. Yeah. And when you look at again, what did the Minister of Finance do? You can't outrightly say he did wrong. Yeah. Because when you look at what they do, they don't bring an instrument now parliament where we be don't approve. And what did that instrument be they try for say that as a country we need to get some reserves. We need to get some reserves when they like this generator quick. As a country, we need to get reserve land. We're not going to just give out all of we land them to mining.
Okay.
So there was this a particular instrument where come where actual give the right say certain pieces of land should be reserved. You know, should be reserved. We can things like that.
Okay.
So if we do not approve that, at a point the minister come and say, okay, in the interest, and when you look at the context of what the minister they try to achieve, you go really see say whatever he trying to achieve, it try to achieve them in the interest of the bigger Sierra Leone.
Okay.
But at the same time, hello?
Yes, we dey get you. Please go ahead, Honorable.
Yes, at the same time, they try for undo an agreement where we don't take place at the community level. You know, these are the dicey situation. And this agreement will not become approved. And the community people, they be done with willingly, they be done say, okay, the one gentle group of companies actually take the land, through the agreement. But again, the government, you know, the government also come with another agreement, and when you look at the full package of that agreement, it's not a bad one. So me just we say it's a complex thing, and you not go say the government, the state institution totally wrong, but what has happened is that everybody failed to communicate.
Okay.
Because
Honorable, can I please come in at this point? Fair enough, yeah. But at this point, there are three different players: the community people, government, and then Gento Group on the other side. Maybe the very first question I would want to put is, would you confirm to us this evening that indeed una committee una don't receive a complaint from the community people? Are you looking into any complaints presently? Is there one?
You say if I confirm what?
Can you confirm whether currently, regarding the Kasafoni dispute, una get any complaint from the community people? Una get complaints before una now una dey watch?
Complaint you know, unfortunately, maybe travel out of the jurisdiction and I just they come back and not even return it.
Okay.
Yeah. But I was told there is a concern from the community.
A concern
Yeah.
or complaint, Honorable, just that we get clarity.
Yes, yeah. I've been told there is a complaint from the communities and that they are not happy with the way they have been treated. Yeah. So, but when you look at them, it's a critical situation. Yes, I will tell you, say the communities are according to the dictate of the Customary Land Rights Act. As a community, yes, they get rights for going to agreement on issues that where they feel say it will benefit the community. But again, when you look at that, that has to be done parallel to the state institution for guidance. Now, true say they get the right for going to agreement, but they get to be guided in terms of how they get able to go about that and in terms of those things. So
All right.
yes, we get a complaint, and at the return tomorrow to Freetown, and we go look at that, and we say we will come on board for look at how we will get an amicable solution in a sustainable way to this whole problem. But one thing when me go say, we need to look at the full package of what the minister, why the minister take that kind of decision, And why I just get some glimpse of the whole thing, I'm unable to read through the whole agreement. But looking at it, riskily, it is good for the country. But equally, when you look at Gento, Gento is a citizen of this country. He's a local indigene of this country. Instead also they try for doing young pastoral Gwebu support the development process of this country. So again, whatever we do as a country, as state institution, we not for forget how they think. We not for forget that yes, we want development. Two, we also not get for try for discourage the local people where they try for make the effort for actually the part of the development process. Three, we not also get for make sure that we take away the right of the people from making their own decisions. Because
thank you very much. Let us just interject, Honorable Quintin.
To the local people,
Honorable Quintin, hello.
Make their own decisions, let them make their own mistakes.
Hello, Honorable Quintin.
We can able to guide them. We can able to guide the process. But as it is, I still want to reaffirm that the national state institution gets supreme authority also for decide for say yes or undo.
Okay.
So whatever the ministry, the Minister of Finance might have done, it get that back today for undo, for say yes or no.
Thank you very much, Honorable Dixie, Honorable Quintin. Hello. Hello, Honorable Quintin. Hello.
Honorable, you get to it, please.
Say again.
All right, Honorable, you mentioned that the minister get the supreme authority for decide, in this case, as the finance minister don't decide, say the agreement is null and void. Are the doubts, who say pull the power? Now, inside the instrument or inside the act? Because it seems as if the Customary Land Rights Act is in conflict now with the statutory instruments giving the minister that veto power.
Okay, so let me tell you this. Yeah, as I tell you, when you look at the provisions enshrined in the Customary Land Rights Act of 2022, it gives the local of people for go into transactions, especially on land transactions, especially if they know say that particular thing will bring benefit to them. They give them that right, they give them the authority. But again, one thing will for know from all of the law, the government of the day, when we talk about the government at the pinnacle, the government then are the primary and supreme custodian of all land in the country. Are we together?
Proceed, proceed.
Hello?
Yes, proceed, Honorable.
Thank you very much. The government of the day then are the supreme primary custodian of all land.
Okay.
Just like at the local level, we get the paramount chiefs, where then are the custodians of all land, and not necessarily mean say they are landowners. So why normally paramount chiefs can be part of the signing process of all land this agreement is because they are the paramount chiefs and they are the primary custodians of all land.
So, Honorable Quintin, was it right for paramount chiefs and members of parliament for go cajole Gento for invest in that mining and deposit site where they know saying our government get the power? Was it right on the part of the paramount chief and the MPs them for go and law Gento for can take up that land lease agreement when they know saying our government own? Was it correct?
Okay, let me just tell you. Now that make I still say the problem in this particular thing, in this particular situation, was lack of communication.
On whose part? Uda not communicate.
Lack of communication across the aisle. Now let me tell you.
Across the aisle, specifically from Udat.
Yeah, let me just come. Now the people then go ahead for do the transaction. Even though they get the right for make the transaction, for go around and make agreement. Yes, they have the right. Yeah. But I believe that is why the law makes provision for consultation. You know, when land these agreements are about to be signed, not an event, it's a process. It's a process, and more so when it has to do with, let me say, mining. When it has to do with mining, because what happens, normally within the act, they say when an investor comes, especially in the area of mining, they don't get interested, I want to extract X, Y, Z from this particular site. The right thing to do is that the central government, they refer that particular potential investor for say, go to the community, go engage with them, and we want a no objection from the community people. So when those investors go, they engage the community, this is what we want to do, and this will be the benefit to the community, this will be the benefit to the country, and there is a no objection, that investor comes back to the central government through that particular ministry, let me say mines, if not extractive. From that point there now, all necessary arrangements are done, then they go back to the
Yeah, but Honorable Dixie, Honorable Quintin, the objection here is coming from government, not the people, which is ironical. Because if it is say consultation, which is fine, but not only people they object, the landowners, over 100 of them, not to they object. Now the government can object, say, oh, we're not going to agreement, so we're not okay with. So is this a case of two rights? The rights of the government, the rights of the people to the land making a wrong? Two rights making a wrong? Is it that the case?
No, listen. As I say, the people be getting right for going to the agreement where they do. And fact. But don't forget also that we don't receive a document from the ministry that there want certain areas protected and prohibited from mining because they want to use that as some kind of preserve for the country. They don't want law give away all land in a
Agreed. That is the trust of the National Mineral Wealth Fund. But
it becomes difficult.
you know.
The one of contention is coming because literally you go begin to ask, what has the Ministry of Finance got to do with mining? Why not the Minister of Mines? But because they don't bring an instrument.
Honorable Quintin, let me hold you there. The instruments and the act, who's one powerful passing company? The instruments will create the Mineral Wealth Fund and the act will create the customary land rights. Who's one powerful?
No, listen.
No, please be brutally frank with a yes or no. Who's one powerful? The instruments or the act?
Listen. Let me just tell you. Yeah. I think what we have not been doing is following up on some of these laws we make. Okay. That is one thing we have not been doing as a nation.
Agree. That's understandable. But the instruments, Honorable Quintin, the instruments and the act, who's one supersede?
No, let me just come. In the first place, I'll tell you, first, the state institution, the government of the day, gets supreme authority. Yeah, they are the supreme institution where get the primary honor for being custodian of all land. Their responsibilities, then we can devolve them to different levels. So for me, if there is a conflict between an agreement made at the local level, an agreement made by the government, the national, I believe it is unfortunate. It is unfortunate on the side of we own brother Gento. It is unfortunate we are going through this because somebody somewhere.
Is it not also unfortunate for the side of government? Now, just after Gento go into agreement, the government they go do follow up for do the agreement. Is it not also unfortunate on the side of government?
Somewhere has not done its assignment well. Yeah.
Honorable Quintin.
We not go allow.
Honorable Quintin, please hold on. Is it not also unfortunate on the side of the Ministry of Mines, Ministry of Finance, and other players? Now, just after Gento don't get agreement, now NSF the council themselves want. Is it not unfortunate on their part also?
And I get this last part. Come again.
Is it not unfortunate on the part of government that the Ministry of Mines, the Ministry of Finance, they only come after this land after Gento don't sign an agreement with the people? Is it not unfortunate?
So listen.
Honorable Quintin, please go to the answers. You evade the questions. I want you to give me a straight jacket answer. You say unfortunate on Gento part. Is it also not unfortunate on the part of government?
No, listen. Let me just answer you. Yeah. I will tell you, this mistake has happened.
Now, would I take the blame?
This mistake has happened. I believe that as a country, we need to couch the way forward.
Who are responsible for the mistake, Honorable Quintin? Now, Gento no more responsible for the mistake.
Allow me for land. When you ask the question, allow me.
Yes, but honorable, you go off the question, and we're not gonna make much time now.
You are not allowing the people to learn from what we are telling.
Yes, but you are in a circle. You go round and round. People want to forget answers.
Your own decision. You might have taken your own decision. And when it is time to engage the community, the country, with a give space for many listeners or the viewers, they actually able to understand what is happening. But if you didn't interject, I know we all they take decisions, we all they take sides. And even this thing, as I told you, I've not been in the center of this whole thing.
Thank you.
I just got to know by way of information from a clerk said, we don't receive it. And I follow up.
Okay.
And I tell you that whatever might have happened, it's unfortunate that this kind of thing don't happen.
Yeah, but you not tell me, you say it's unfortunate on the side of Gento, but you know who answer whether it's unfortunate on the side of government.
Make people they learn from we.
Okay.
Because if they interject, they will not be learning.
All right.
I acknowledge from the beginning of my statement, I acknowledge the fact that a complex situation and it's unfortunate that this don't happen. And I also acknowledge that we agree, the community, the three chiefdoms, the three communities, they don't come together and sign an agreement with Gento. Okay. And also state the fact that it is unfortunate that this thing that happened.
All right.
Yeah.
Before we give you break, Honorable Quintin.
It is somebody who might have gone wrong or who might have failed in actually doing his duties.
All right.
But when you have one state, I want to know say, as a state institution, they gather authority for say yes or no to certain things.
All right. Honorable Quintin, hello, Honorable Quintin.
It's to carve the way forward from law. We able to make sure that we able to find a way forward so that at the end of the day, whatsoever ultimate decision, the other party is not going to be seriously affected.
All right.
If it is about compensating Gento, the law makes sure that Gento is happy because Gento is one of us and is the son of the 12 and instead they try to develop the country in your way.
Thank you.
So
Honorable Quintin, hello. Hello, Honorable Quintin.
Actually cast the blame. The blame don't happen.
Honorable Quintin, can you please confirm? Hello, Honorable Quintin. Hello, Honorable Quintin. Hello, Honorable Quintin. Are you surprised that Parliament investigates a matter, then yet still the executive pursue action? Particularly so, are you aware that the chief minister asked Parliament for stay action on the public petition that then they look into the matter? Are you aware?
Instead, say I not be there within the jurisdiction, and what they talk is news to me. Okay. But again, I believe in all of this where they happen. As a Parliamentary Oversight Committee chairman for Land, Housing and Country Planning, I believe I get a space for make me your contribution in the process. So if the chief minister has said X, Y, Z, not to my knowledge, because I was not around, I've only been intimated by the clerk that there is a concern that we need to look at. And as I tell you, I go there free time tomorrow. Okay. And when I go, I can look at the situation. Chief
minister get the power for tell Parliament say let them wait first. Who say he pull that power? They get the power. Say we left this investigation first.
This is news to me.
Okay.
But I believe the Parliament is an autonomous institution Parliament regulates itself according to 74 of the Constitution. Parliament, they take in own decision, which is binding.
Okay.
So I not feel say a statement like that, Parliament will allow for be dictated to. I mean, it becomes an insult to Parliament for me. Anybody say Kebu dictate to Parliament, and Parliament should do. Yeah? The only person waiting at the executive who is a member of Parliament is the president. Apart from the president, no other member from the executive is a member of Parliament. So as Parliament, let me reiterate this, as Parliament, we regulate ourselves and we are an autonomous institution, and so people not go dictate to we waiting for do as a Parliament. And that make all of the committees that wait on they do the incident, I believe that they are doing it just from an autonomous, from an independent point of view.
Yeah, but Honorable Quintin, you mentioned the president. As recent as a couple of months back, the president say some of UNA members of parliament, some of chiefs, including judges, now they all underpan this Dabaru land business. And I'm sure you be hearing that statement there, I'm sure you not be there out of the country. How you been feel as chairman of Parliamentary Oversight Committee on Lands for a member of parliament, when the president accuse some of UNA for get anpan land Dabaru business? How you been feel?
Let me tell you one thing. What the president said was completely correct.
Okay.
Yeah.
So some of UNA MP they on underpan land grabbing. If you say the president correct, it means say some of UNA MP they on underpan land grabbing.
Okay, I think we're having some problems there with the network, but we will definitely bring Honorable back on the line for concluding thoughts there, because I think he was making an important point.
Very, very.
So you see, really, Usai with day, it's kind of like, you know, we day in a...
It's topsy-turvy.
Exactly. It's like, on the one hand, we safe. I think everybody, all of those players, whether it's parliament, whether it's government, whether it's Gento Group, they know what is correct. Yeah? But at the same time, because you sabi that instance where they can say John Permine to win a John Rest. So waiting then they try for do, now for in the wrong compensate themselves as well. Because let us get this straight, yeah? And let's be brutally frank with it. It's Honorable Quintin, are you there now? Hello?
Yeah.
Okay, it's a good thing. Sorry, we get some glitch with the system.
Yeah, I think let's pick up on the last point. You be try for clear the air on where the president. You say the president's right for accuse some MPs, judges, and chief them for land grabbing. Are you guilty of that as MPs?
How can I be guilty? I cannot be a referee at the same time I become a player. No. But what they say, look at the statement. This is not the country currently. Everybody, I will say, everybody wants to become a landowner. And because I'm the chairman, I get the opportunity for be exposed to so many concerns when they come. So when the president say that, I'm not going to qualify, say, yes, it is true or not. But one thing I know, say, generically, I know that there are a lot of grumbles in the land sector. Everybody, every day, when they see somebody, they go talk to Inga 350 acres land. They could get a situation where at John Obe, somebody came up and somebody said, Inga 350 acres. When they go measure, when they go perform the cost, the whole village go under siege within that thing day. We also get another situation at Pentagon. Where one great person say it get up to 200 and something acres. The place is fully built up. When you check out, the place is fully built up and one great person. So you find out the situation will occur. Everybody, every sector in this country is guilty. Because we don't get situations. They'll go put people in there as security for protect people from grabbing land. With the situation, individuals, who they represent the individual institutions, they go and instead of protecting, the land, then they become the owners of those lands, then they sell them.
Okay.
We don't see NPPA. We get forest guard. We're supposed to protect. What we don't see, they complain the way they come to me. We don't see that they move the bell, then they say, everybody.
Okay.
So now that make even waiting with the plan, I will don't go brief the president on this, and we need to get national stakeholders meeting, and at the end of the day, we sign a communique. Because if that is not the case, we got people then at the same Ministry of Lands. Yeah? We
Okay.
got some people then where, okay. We got people then at the same Ministry of Land, where they come up behind the minister, where they come up behind the director, them, that's the problem. And at the end of the day, they use them. We don't receive complaints. Most people they go, they impersonate that particular place. Now this people supposed to get. So it's a very complex situation.
Okay,
I'll
Okay,
tell
back.
you, and very soon, within the next 2-3 weeks, we'll invite all media houses to the gather meeting, and at the end of the day, we'll sign a communique, waiting at everybody in responsibility. No one institution can minimize, if not eradicate,
Okay.
the huge land situation so get. So we really get to engage in that way for make sure say this land business we get for manager. We get very limited supply of land. Yet individuals want even own land more than the state.
Okay. Thank you very much, Honorable Quintin. I think just a final question, if you could make this very short, maybe in 2 minutes for winner. I know you don't talk severally that you not be there in town, you just don't come back, but what's the way forward with this situation now? Waiting the next steps, maybe just highlight the next steps so that we go and fumble them out there go know as well. Waiting at the next steps we intend for take regarding this matter.
Thank you very much. Now, as I tell you, the president, I believe, say currently they are out of the jurisdiction. I go come before I go. I go engage them a briefer on all of these things where they happen. And the president said, in your wisdom, we don't call key people from across all of the institutions here. Follow what is really the problem. And Mr. Go brief him, waiting and no say will be the way forward. And if you ask me waiting at the way forward, we need every hand on deck. We need for sanitize land system. And the only way we'll go do, and we're not going to just left in the hands of the minister. We're not going to just left in the hands of the Ministry of Plants. We all get for the ministry where they lead on our getting your role, environment getting your role, because we need for make sure say the environment ministry and the lands ministry, they're able to synergize, because there is no way you can dissociate the environment from land, and there's no way you can dissociate land from environment. So they need to get some policies, when a cross-cutting policies, where they will guide them. This don't go get your own policy different. We also need the military, because in most of those places, we can call the military for maybe able help for give protection. But I don't receive a lot of complaints who say some of them military are they misrepresent the respectable institution of the Sierra Leone Armed Forces. Then they in fact become the grabbers.
Okay.
Then they prohibit
Thank
other
you very
people.
much,
Then they say, we don't get the same for the police. They say not the same. But when you look at all of this, these are just individuals where they misrepresent them in notable institutions here. And so that is why we need the bosses of all of these institutions.
Okay.
Yeah. We don't also get situations. Outside lawyers, instead of going to court for other situations, they prioritize land matter.
Okay,
So
thank
these are all complex situations where they come. So that is why
Yeah,
we say,
Honorable
if we don't
Quintin,
minimize all of
Honorable
these
Quintin,
challenges,
it will be
it's
very
not
unfair. You don't
we
mention
need
police, you don't mention
everybody
Soja
to
Man,
hands on-
you don't mention police, Soja Man, and others. But you fail to mention a letter within public domain where the Speaker of your own parliament, they use a parliamentary committee, you committee, for ask people in how do I call them now, Waterloo Park, for vacate. The Speaker get that power there for ask, is the Speaker a court for ask people for vacate? The Speaker of Parliament use you committee in a letter within a public domain, they ask tenants them now Waterloo Park for vacate. Parliament get that power there?
Let me just come. You need to understand.
Yeah.
What they said is not to my knowledge. But again, don't forget, the Speaker of the Sierra Leone Parliament is also a lawyer. He has a chamber. So we need to know exactly.
So if I use your committee in letterhead, why not using chamber? Why not using chamber in letterhead, but use the committee on lands letterhead?
Mr. Moderator, when you ask a question, allow me somebody respond. Because if you interject, you know they allow me the other people.
No. The interjection is for you to be on the right direction. We not just want to interject.
No, Nadameka, they tell you what you are saying here is a statement coming from you.
No, it is in the document is in public domain. That the speaker, the acts tenant them for vacate using the committee on lands letterhead. It is a public document.
Let me tell you. I go only own up to the speaker, say yes, if I see the letter and I see the signature. But this is one thing you are telling me. And don't forget, if you advance that thing there, then I'll be in position to respond. But we are on set. You just talk up. You need to show me evidence. Say the speaker said that.
Not said.
Apart from being the Speaker of Parliament, that man is also a renowned lawyer. He has his chamber.
Okay, so becoming a lawyer, if I use parliament for a lawyer work, is that what you are saying? If I use parliament as a conduit for a lawyer work?
That particular letter they come up.
Of course.
So these are all things we need to put on place. Now Zoom meeting there on. If I be there at the studios and you show me evidence, I will respond.
Okay, fair enough, Honorable. Thank you very much.
Be careful how they call the names of people.
Okay, thank you very much, Honorable Quinty. Thank you very much for joining us tonight. And we hope to get you in other instances as well for further this conversation, because there are so many other unanswered questions there. Okay, in name na Honorable Quintin Salia Kone, we are the chairman of the Parliamentary Oversight Committee on Land. Now tonight, he provide some answers there.
I think we are left with more questions than answers.
Exactly, and that's where I want to start. And then, well, in all fairness to Ram, for most of the questions, he say it's not to acknowledge.
It was not be the tongue.
I think there is so much really where the Honorable get for catch up with, because
of course.
so much done they go
I don't even know
on.
1 month it travel for.
Yeah, well, so much
Maybe.
done they go on at the committee where they perform an oversight function.
We don't know it's in the
so it gets like so much for catch up on. But certainly we will keep up with him while he's catching up on those instances to really bring those information as and when they are available. Now, so on the flip side, we're going to watch shortly a video from the Minister of Finance, where don't they at the center in all of this conversation. As a matter of fact, now one person, where don't they vehemently assert the position that Kasofoni land is unencumbered, not to something where then they pan with community for and waiting. That no. That he himself has been there severally to engage with the community people, and stating some several other things that, as a matter of fact, the only confusing figure way they see in all of the mix now, the narrative way the gentle group of companies they push out there, and he claims that that's not correct. But let's take a listen at waiting the Minister of Finance get for say, and then we go juxtapose that day with all waiting Honorable Quintin don't say, and the several other things that are not to his knowledge.
One of the major assets where the government acquire and allocate to the corporation for use for develop the nation, we go put inside the fund. Now the Kasafoni Tonkolili not deposit. Now the first one and the way unencumbered, nobody not get them, they not don't get a slicing, it is free and available. The president said that one now for the people and the country called Sierra Leone. That's how I want to build this nation. With that, I know I don't get time. I need to do one for myself. I did do one for this country because we need for change. We do mining. Yeah? That's how Kasafoni on. That's how Kasafoni develop. That's how government take over Kasafoni. Now, but for let you do the mining, we did one according to law. Ministry of Mines gets standards. It gets requirements. It gets process for let you acquire license. So the corporation go apply for the license. Yeah? But then tell them, say, you need to go talk to the community, get land lease from the community. Second, go do studies. Go to EPA, do your SR, get your SR certification. Do your feasibility study. We don't go do verification. We don't care go the thing and go in a lab. We know how much deposit then did. Now some portion of Kasafoni. We don't certify how much resources that they follow. We go do mine. We get bankable feasibility study. We even don't develop the mine plan. We don't develop the transportation architecture up to the point of how to ship the bulk mineral out of country. Now, fast forward, we depend this process. With the law, we don't say we allocate anybody. Government get interest for mining under for and on behalf of the people. Go talk to the custodian of the land, secure your land license, and do everything required for have all the credibility for joint partners and for do the job. Well, people jump ahead of we because they don't hear you say, government they do this, money don't come, we don't find investors. Then grab, go talk, say, not and get land, and go meet the chief then. Well, chief may not know all what is happening. Community people may not know. They signed. Well, for me, that Gentle talking a lot in the public. It's been there a lot. It don't even, it set a dossier as far as I'm concerned. A dossier will damage the image, credibility, reputation. Diplomatically, reputationally, it delay with financial risk and loss, delay with time, but not only that. I think it even set up almost like a political thing. We're not necessary in this space because of development we do. It go beyond that, it insight. And it go beyond that, it even the try for create reputation for we for go out. No, you know what, that becomes small. So that I want to clarify this to the nation. No, he was in the press today, and it is reputational damage from the leader to ministers who are in the sector. I have to clarify this to the public, yeah? Because our government image is damaged. And that is one man versus state. It is one man versus community. It's one man versus our development interest. For people who don't understand, they may start taking sides. I want to tell you that it's a diplomatic, financial, reputational damage caused where he's saying there is a dispute on the land that the government has clearly, government in a country, that the government has clearly indicated it has interest in mining for and on behalf of the state for national development. One man country, no man, no single man, able build this nation. Now we the build together. So what he was doing there, I had to clarify to the public.
You don't tire for yeri boku talk with no substance or sweet talk with plenty lie inside. Then now, na the term for.
Okay, so that's now the Sheku Fantamadi Bangura, when the Minister of Finance. It be just to clarify, I think chief amongst the points that we make now, really re-emphasizing the points that the land in question is unencumbered, that government not there in tussle with anybody, that whatever the notion we Gentle group they assert, not to correct thing. So at this point, really, it's a question of who is really fooling who. Because the narrative, I think the stories them so different. If you listen to waiting Honorable Quintin, when at the chairperson for the Parliamentary Oversight Committee on Lands, they say, even pushing for compensation for Gentle for losses, it in contradiction totally with waiting the Minister of Finance, where in this case, we go assume say they represent the voice of government in that particular regard, the executive. Who is telling us the truth?
But there's something.
Should we rely on the statement of the Parliamentary Oversight Committee on Land when quite a critical body, or should we take the words of Gentle in SEFSEF, or should we take the words of the Minister of Finance where they speak for government? Who do we listen to? Or do we listen to the community people where we already get a signed agreement and they are referencing the Customary Land Rights Act that it's their point of strength and whatever instruments, statutory instruments, and that was another point as well where we not be able to get clarity from the Honorable on.
whether
The
the
statutory
statutory
and the act-
instruments
and the act is one powerful.
override the Customary Land Rights Act.
Yeah,
So
sure.
yes, I think I agree with you, Melvin, that this leaves us with more questions than really answers because, well, unfortunately, as much as we would want to, we're not able to assert affirmatively that one override the other. But this is where we are at. So 072-500-442, now the number where you go call for add your voice to the conversation tonight. But just by way of setting the rules, yeah, when you they call, move away from your radio set or TV or turn the volume down so that we go get what you they see.
And now 1 minute per call. No Padau dying. May so
Of
rest
blessed
in-
memory.
May so rest in peace. No Padau dying. No additional time. It was strictly 1 minute. But the minister talked about something very serious. We can agree now that this is a reputational damage.
It is.
He said it. It's
Yes,
clear.
yes, yes,
and this
yes,
is
yes.
going to, send a shockwave on the spines of other investors. That is obvious. And he also said something that I disagree with him. With all due respect, he's a young gentleman. He said for one man. Gentle, not to one man. And this is wrong. If they are personifying him
Personalizing the entire
as if,
conversation.
this is a company, for God's sake. This is a company, this is not Gentle. A Gentle group of company. If the minister look at it from one-man business, he's getting it wrong. Because, as it stands, it's a corporate body. It can sue and be sued. And now in the same minister defeating says it's a reputational damage. So, Gentle has got a lot of options. Unfortunately, it seems as if the minister, from what I see, the minister is like taking a coercive stance. So whether Gentle was forced to pull an or the people who are coerced to agree to the New Deal, it's all matter of more questions than answers.
And exactly. And you know another thing is, whose side government be they when the community will be sign this agreement with Gentle Group of companies? Yeah? And
Who side them be they? Where some of the MP there and the paramount chief then go collect couple?
Exactly. And I think that is what Nadande in fact don't put them, all of these players, in a very, very tight lane. Because trust me, if Gentle they come now and they say, hey, he want for even if he's not going to have the mining rights anymore, but he gets at least the sign export rights. While at the same time, it's even two contradicting things. One, Gentle they say, he want for get export rights that they use import na Banana Island because according to RAM, government will benefit more. Yeah. However, the target where governments get for start for exports now next year, 2026, November. Yeah. Gentle at the same time, they say, this man where they say let them use imports, they say, imports not going to be done ready yet. So what he wants rather, now that government can go use whatever ports, whether na King Ho or other one, but at the same time, sign an agreement with them that once imports complete, they would be using his ports. And it's really the question of, wow.
Corporate gangsterism.
Exactly.
It was not part of the deal.
Yeah, so it's like...
So you go pull her now.
Yeah. Let them go use whatever means for a start until when. And when you're ready, then can start for use you ports.
Dig old cover hole.
Why should that be the case?
Why? In fact,
was the port where Gentle they build, and this is another thing, the port where Gentle they build na Banana Island, is it really hinged to whatever mining contract or arrangements na Kasafuni? How the two then tied? Because when you look at the locations, these are two different places, and there are two different agreements. Was it the case that where Gentle be they get the agreement for Banana Island project? Yeah. Was there any kind of assurance from anybody in the government we tell and say, because this is another thing, if somebody they come and boldly they assert such, then maybe somebody in a corner be don't promise and something where we know that, hey, no worry no more. Where you build that port day, you're also going to have this one that will be connected to it.
But Gentle Group, they expose themselves. It seems as if they not do their homework well on the feasibility for the ports. Because how you tell me saying a risk that other ports then go put them price down because of that the ports in Banana Island make it more easier. It just not make logical sense. And for the one with the Gentle, the one with the advisor, for the advisor, whenever it meets the media, it can box up himself. And in that interview when he grabs to his sister station, it look box upping. Why I say box up in? You know, with all due respect to and
I like the fact that they invent new words every day. So tonight we have it look box up in. So let's have that. Let's add that to the
because
dictionary.
I mean because you don't get this deal, this agreement not covered. You don't get nothing to do with mining. Then you can do correlation between mining and so if you say this concession and give for this Banana Island port was profitable, how now you need a collateral in exports of mineral resources? So, gentlemen, this is that we get some explaining for do, but unfortunately, I think what we'll agree on is that the law conflicts itself here. The Customary Land Rights Act give the people in power, whereas the instrument now give the ministry.
Which calls into question, and this is very, very important here, Melvin, for a parliament that was so determined for introduce a bill where they give them rights to series of out of this world allowances, wardrobe allowance, this allowance, increasing the salary and all, then seem not for they pay attention so much to what they are even there to do. Because who that them pass the Customary Land Rights Act? Na parliament.
Yeah.
Who that them at the same time and pass the statutory instrument? It is the same parliament.
So, but they not do due diligence in checking
Exactly.
conflicting provisions.
And all the time they put the country now in this difficult position. Because the reasons why countries then they make law. Now so that in times like this, when everybody is claiming that they are right, the law should always point you to the right direction. But in we own case, even the people themselves way pass the law, go come and they tell you, say, well, actually the law, they're actually contradicting, they're conflicting at this point.
I think those MPs who approach Gento group of companies should be liable criminally for duping.
Who will now hold them to account?
The company. Because listen to Gento. He said that then go meet her for the guy they make their own and say, okay, well, we get this. So vicariously they are liable.
Can you claim, in that instance, can you claim, can you actually come to equity with dirty hands? The answer is no. Yeah? He who comes to equity must come with clean hands.
Yeah.
So in this case,
Who that they hand dirty?
at the camp, Gento in agreement with their member of parliament or whosoever, who are we to say that those were agreements that were on the table? How about, say, those agreements the way they reach under the table based on personal gains where who that then they get?
No, it can't
so
be.
where can you go?
It can't be. Gento is very clear.
If it was not-
They signed with 100 land-owning families.
If it were not so, why is it that at the very first instance of small chaos, Gento is so quick to give up that and sign?
Because he might have been coerced.
Who coerced him?
The minister. You hear the minister. In fact, the minister was almost vulgar when he talked about the issue.
No, but I don't want us to assume.
No, we're not assuming. We're using facts.
Yeah,
if you listen to the minister's
But there are no
interview-
facts pointing to the fact that Gento was coerced.
No. The words of the minister can be used to be deemed as coercion.
No, I think-
He said, government not get no agreement with her. In fact, any trade Gento don't go into is null and void. His position was very clear. He was not sounding reconciliatory or negotiating. His position was Gento was wrong. He fell foul of the law, and the deal was illegal.
Don't you think that the minister gets the boldness for speaking such a way because he's convinced that legally he's standing on the right side, that in terms of due process, he's standing on the correct side, as opposed to the side where Gento they stand on? Because what in the minister states, to my mind, Melvin, he's asserting that, yes, indeed, this and this and this and this is correct. What I would have expected from Gento in your side, now the fact that if the points where you strongly they represent that, Gento was duped and all, he would have, in the same vein, asserted his own rights in such strong manner, in the same measure. I don't think, say, he was coerced. I just feel, and this is my singular opinion, yeah, that if somebody they claim, say, he don't get this property here through the right means, he gets documents and all of which, all due processes were followed, and just at the mere sight of somebody else, albeit that somebody they now of superior authority, I mean, whichever now, yeah, come and say, oh no, then they're not correct, and then quick tell Melvin, you surrendered all of your documents, and now what you they claim for now compensation, where you rights from the beginning?
Because it's rare. The government in this part of the world is always right. The minister is capitalizing on his political authority.
Who that's their make-up government? It's not just the executive. There is the parliament as well. Not also, if you say you already get the authority of the parliament, there were parliamentarians, not also where you sign with and all of which. The executive one grade not going to bully.
So I gave a case study in the question I asked Honorable Quintin. We are told reliably that the chief minister asked parliament for stay action on a public petition on the same matter. So, I mean, fortunately, not forget say the invisible hands of politics is everywhere. And I agree with you. If gentlemen not a right, why in not standing cause, in not standing ground? I agree with you.
And if you claim as well, say you don't losses.
Yeah, you are claiming now, say government for pay you 30 million, right? Where in the gentleman say, you know, say government don't get that kind of money. Just that you want for let government come to the table for let them say, okay, well, you will use report. So it's very clear. Gento is not consistent. Gento is as inconsistent as the government of Sierra Leone on this subject, which is quite unfortunate because other business people are going to watch and say, what is my business? I say don't put money down in the canal for. I mean, if you are right, why ceding your rights? So I'm seeing your legal argument there. The legal argument there. If you don't say you right, why you go give up the rights? So that's why I said Gento, for the advisor. So tell them the way they talk in the media, they box up himself. Another than the journalists, they box up or any box up himself. That interview there, it gets so much questions and answers. Unfortunately, for me, I think it's about the investors' confidence and investment protection.
I think it's really on that premise that why this conversation tonight is important. It is because it's not really about just Kasafoni now. This has been kind of like a repeated situation in different instances. We're still not even able to conclude fine one yet, waiting at the situation with Koidu Holdings in itself, first of all. That was another instance in which as well government box up itself. Because on the one hand, on the one hand, you get the different voices them where they represent government. They say different things. And it is the country that stands at a loss. In all of this, politicians them, when you're elected, when they're elected into power, now, for ensure, say, you exercise due diligence. I mean, people have voted to work. You really voted to work. It is okay for the ordinary man to be clueless on integral things the way they go on. But what is not okay is for somebody that we are paying, a member of parliament or whosoever, a minister, giving you all these allowances, driving all of these big Prados, for really be clueless about what is going on. Because we are paying you for let you sit down, study up to midnight while we are sleeping. That's why you are having all of those luxuries that way you enjoy. And they keep on increasing it all the time. But it always be the situation that in this country, when it comes to such important things, even within the government circle, amongst whether not ministers and the different ministers them. Because you get this situation as well. Mind you, this is a mines and mineral issue. But the voice will don't be central and very strong in all of this. Not out of the Minister of Finance. And people
capitalizing on an instrument.
Yes, exactly. And people really,
not even an act.
And people they really wonder as well, where does the Ministry of Mines and Mineral Resources really stand? Well, the argument with the Minister of Finance put forward now that, well, they're applying for the license to the ministry. So that is why he is leading the charge on the face of government because they are going to apply to the ministry. But, I mean, that's something where it's neither here nor there. Anyways, I think this is where we draw the cutting down to tonight's conversation. Of course, we could go on and on, because the questions them boku. I am sure this is one particular topic that would have to revisit on another day, because there are so many things to which we need answers. Plenty thank you to all who that don't watch we via our Facebook page, and of course those ones we don't follow we on radio. Till next week Sunday at exactly 7 p.m. where another edition of Brutally Frank will come to you on this very same dial. I am James Fortune, and like always, we close with John Trudell. We once say, when people them they live in a society, usai they're no longer able for trust the institutions them we did it, for tell them waiting correct. Then people and they within such a society go need for now rely on culture and art for your waiting correct. Mina James Fortune and
Melvin Tijan Mansaye, not forget say, if you don't know Usai you dey go, always know Usai you come out.
bye-bye. Official website.
You don't tire for your boku talk with no substance or sweet talk with plenty lie inside. Then now the term or strip the headlines bare and tell the story just like it is. Brutally Frank goes where others won't, exposing the real stories behind the headlines.
We tackle